All right, friends. So I'm gonna make this as quick as possible. It's late right now. It's 2:32, but I can't sleep and I'm losing my voice. So we got back from Disney, and I want to make a couple comments too. So if you're watching this, as the title says, we're going to talk about the Pennsylvania Senate race. We're rounding the last couple weeks, and there's some important information that I want to go over with you. I will say, I just came back from Florida. We were down at Disney, and I we went right after it was a week after the hurricane. All right, so little bit less than that, and we were concerned because we were bringing the kids to Disney, and so we're driving down there, and I was like, oh no, I don't know if we're going to be able to stay down here. You assume that if your state or whatever has, or the state has a massive hurricane, one of the worst hurricanes ever, specifically the area that you're going to, just a week ahead of you going down to that state, going to an amusement park down in that state, you assume that probably that's not going to be open. You're not going to be able to do much. You're not going to be able to find hotels. I was certain. I was like, my biggest fear was that we were staying at the resort, but we went down a couple days early. And one of my biggest fears was that we weren't going to be able to find a place to stay because there's so many people that are not in their houses right now. Is what I thought. I mean, I have pictures of friends' houses that are completely underwater. Just a couple miles from where we were at. So we drove through Jacksonville, then Daytona, which was underwater, and then we drove to Orlando. There was there was no sign of hurricane. I mean, there was a couple road signs that were down, and a little bit of flooding at a resort, but besides that, there was nothing. I mean, you would not have known that a hurricane went through there. So I just have to say that that's what leadership looks like. Uh, People were waiting for the governor of Florida to screw up, and he did the opposite. He got out there and did what he needed to do. Traveled, him and his wife traveled all over the state and took care of their people. And every governor should take notes and lessons, Republican or Democrat, doesn't matter. So I just want to point that out. We're going to talk about other Senate races and elections throughout the U.S. in the next video that I post. Really alongside this one. But for this one, we're just going to talk about Pennsylvania. Now, and again, I apologize. My throat, I can't talk right now. It's awful. But I needed to get this video out. It's the 23rd right now. The election's in about 15 days. Early voting has already started. Mail-in voting's already started. And we know how that stuff can go. There's a reason why I wanted to make this video now. The last video that I made was very long. I wanted a small video for you to be able to digest. So right now, if you can imagine, just back in September, okay, we'll start with that. Fetterman was up by 8 points, and that lead went all the way to 10 or so points. Okay, you're talking 10.2 or so points, 10.7 even right here. All right, that lead has shrunk significantly. Okay, so you go through September and you hit October, and you're at a 5.8% lead. Now, I want you to keep in mind for a second that Fetterman had his stroke, because people go, oh, well, people are starting to realize his health. I mean, the guy had his stroke back in May. But here's the deal is that, and this is important to remember because I don't think a lot of people know this, and the messaging hasn't been clear on this. And this to me is more important than the stroke itself. People get over strokes. And there's a chance that he'll be fine, completely cognitive. When I'm happy that he's alive and relatively healthy, I really am. But if you remember, right before the primary, Democrats would have had another person, I believe Connor Lamb, up for election right now, except for that John Fetterman lied about his health. They lied. They held the news that he had a stroke up until after the primary, because it was right before the primary. And so I understand why you would do something like that, of course, but it's not the right thing to do. It's really a terrible thing to do. So just keep that in mind when you're voting, because to me, I look at that as this is a sign of what this guy will do in office and what he has done in office. Okay, so there's two major lies going on right now from the Fetterman campaign surrounding his health. Number one is exactly that. And he's been hiding the ball for months now, where his campaign has ever since May and June. So he hides behind the facade of him being honest about his health by saying that he had a stroke. But Come on, I mean, that's a pretty low threshold to reach. It's obvious you had a stroke, right? What else were you going to say there? But he's hit the ball in two different ways. Number one, he's hid the fact that he had the stroke even until after the primary was over. And then two, that maybe the bigger one for right now is that he's been asked numerous times by different organizations, both Democrat and Republican, from CNN and MSNBC and or NBC and Fox News has asked for. I mean, everybody has asked for this, his medical records, and he will not provide them. Now, I need you to think for a second, because people go, "Oh, why is that important?" He provided them back in May. Well, things could have changed from May. When we don't even do. How can we believe that? People demanded stuff like this from Trump all the time, and if he didn't get it from them, then they would say that he's a tyrant and they don't have the information. They don't believe he's neurologically sound, so on and so forth. But Fetterman is just saying, no, I'm not going to provide that information. And I need you to think about it for a second. Do you think if that man was healthy in any way, shape, or form, that he would hide that? No, he'd want to put that to bed as quick as possible. But instead, they are constantly going on defense, saying that if you ask for that, then you're ableist. Okay, which we'll talk about in a second, because I want to get the important information first. And then if you want to stick around for the rest of it, that would be great. Okay, so we go through October, okay, and you get basically a 6-point lead mostly through October. And as we hit the second half of October, 5.2, we're at a 3.6 right now. Okay, 2.2 right now. Okay, there's not much difference. Sorry, between the Fetterman and Oz campaign right now when it comes to polling. Okay, now this is because there's a number of different reasons. Okay, people are starting to wise up to this though. People are starting to understand and see what's going on. Pardon me. Now, what are they starting to see? Because we've known about this stroke for a long time. Okay, so what we're seeing now is we're seeing the signs of stroke. So first thing I'm going to say, the most important part is, listen, you want to ask yourself, what can you do? Voting's already started. It's 15 days before the election. Well, number one, of course, I would hope that you were going to go out there and vote yourself. Okay. And if you were thinking about staying home, or if you're like, well, it looks like Dr. Oz has this, that is not it's the farthest from a sure thing. Whether you think the election was stolen or not, I don't think it was. I'm not saying that it was. There's a lot of rules put in place that benefit Democrats, from early voting rules to ballot collecting and things like that. Now, John Fetterman, as the lieutenant governor, has had a lot of control over processes that were put into place. Where Dr. Oz is coming in from outside of outside of the state government, outside of government in general. Okay, so you might say to yourself, well, why would I go vote? I mean, Dr. Oz is not that exciting to me. I don't exactly love Dr. Oz. It's not about that. Okay, it's about whether or not Dr. Oz will do a good job for the people. Okay, and whether or not he'll do a better job than John Fetterman for the people. Okay, and, we talk about, well, the Fetterman campaign talks about Oz lies and this thing and that thing. I mean, the Fetterman campaign is lying directly to your face right now. So there's a couple things that you can do. I want to go over this, and then I don't want to bury the lead. I want to go through the different issues that are coming up right now that I think are affecting the way that people are deciding to vote. But what you can do, for one, is go and vote. The second thing that you can do is take videos like this. And I understand, listen, my voice is gone. I get fumbling around with stuff and whatnot because I'm having a tough time. I get that, okay? And maybe there's a better video for this, okay? Maybe there's not. This is going to be the most direct and straight video that you're going to find, probably just telling you this is what you need to do. But take this video or other videos and share them, okay? It doesn't got to be this video. Take a Dr. Oz ad and take a Fetterman interview where he's, denying his health information to people, and put that out on your social media. But defend. Post 3 videos a day. Might irritate people. You might lose a couple of friends. That's okay. Facebook, Instagram, everything, LinkedIn. I mean, literally whatever you can change your Tinder profile to a picture of Dr. Oz and do it. Being sarcastic there. Bottom line is that the more people that know are getting that messaging constantly, go out and vote, go out and vote, go out and vote, and vote for this person, they're going to go out there. They're going to have more people go out there to vote. Okay, number two, and I guess number three, bring a family member with you. Ask your kids if they're going to vote. I don't know if it's too late to register or not. That one of the things they've done is they've allowed people to register a lot closer to the race, I think. So bring your kids to go get registered and bring your kids to vote. Bring your cousins, your nephews, whoever you can bring to vote. If all of us conservatives or even, just Democrats that are sick of the BS, go and bring a family member and say, hey, listen, here you go vote. Okay. Hey, here's $20. Come with me. Let's go get lunch. If you go vote for Dr. Oz right now with me, I'll buy you lunch. Okay. Whatever. Whatever gets them to the polls, bring them with you. Influence them. Okay. If there's people that you work with, whatever you feel comfortable with, influence. Finally, go door to door. Okay. Pick 10 houses a day and go up to the house and just say, hey, listen, who are you voting? If they say no, then tell them to reconsider. If they say Fetterman, then tell them why they shouldn't vote for Fetterman. If they say Oz, tell them to bring somebody with them. Okay. These are the ways that we're going to win. If, let's say, for example, only 10 of you see this video, but you share it to 100 people, and those 100 people share it to 1,000 people, and then all of those 1,000 people bring somebody else to vote with them, you're racking up votes pretty quickly, and everyone helps, especially unexpected votes. Because if there is any kind of weird stuff, the only way to combat that is by getting more and more people involved. Okay, so understand this. It's extremely important. Okay, now let's talk about why this is happening. So I'll tell you that right now, and I know it's I know it's tough to listen to me right now, but I think it's important to tell you why this is happening now. If you got the information you need, this is where we're at. 2.2. Fetterman's ahead 2.2. Now, usually, there's a 3-point margin of error on most of these polls. So I'm saying that it's not you got to understand that there's a lot of opportunity here for Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz has not hit his ceiling yet. Fetterman probably has. Okay. Let's look at some of these separate polls real quick, and then we will get into why this is happening. Okay. So you have the Echelon Insights. Okay, that's rated B to C. I can't tell you, one way or the other. But it had 500 registered voters. Now, likely voters are more important than registered voters. I can tell you that right now. That is Fetterman up by 3. Okay, Insider Advantage is rated a B. That is 550 likely voters. So supposedly more important, and that's a pretty much dead heat. Okay, now this is one that's rated by this group by 530, which is by no means a conservative group, in A to B, and this one has Dr. Oz up by. And this had more people, 1,000 voters, and it likely voters, okay, which is more important. And Dr. Oz is up by 5 points on that one, okay. Now that is somewhat, the outlier, okay. But right here you have AARP sponsor, Fabrizio Lee and Associates Impact Research, 1,400 likely voters, and they do have Fetterman up by 2. The Trafalgar Group, which is it says right here is a partisan pollster for the Republican Party, but it still gets an A-. They've been right about most things. And right now, out of 1,078 likely voters, they have Fetterman up by 2. Okay, now there's opportunity here in a couple different ways. Number one, there's still 5% of voters that are not answering this, that are not that are undecided, I guess, based on this. So this, and there's also 3% of voters that right now are going for Gerhardt. I'd strongly suggest that if you're going for Gerhardt, I don't know what party that is. I think that it's just independent. But if you're going for Gerhardt, I'd highly suggest that you reconsider, that you consider what's going on right now, the things that we're going to go over in a minute. Okay, I strongly suggest you just consider that. Okay. Now, this is over the last couple of weeks. The most recent data that we have is these 3 right here. Okay. And these 3 right here, you have Oz up by 5, Fetterman up by 1, basically dead heat. It's 46 to 46. 2 for Gerhardt, and there's some opportunity in there. And then 46, 43 Fetterman, but that is ranked the lowest out of the 3 polls. So what I'm saying is that there's a good chance that Oz is ahead right now. Okay, That being said, there's no guarantees. Oh, sorry. Um, now, let's see if there's let's see what the Democrat look at the Democrat polls. Center Street is a partisan pollster for the Democratic Party. They're not even ranked, and they have Fetterman up by 16 and 19. Those are some outliers, significant outliers. That's pretty wild. You can see the trends of the Fetterman up by 10, Fetterman up by 3, by 3, by 4. Okay, these two are ranked A and A minus. This one was registered voters. This one was likely voters. Likely voters again more important. Okay, I can speak for Harrisburg area as well. This is a very mixed area in their opinions. Okay, Emerson College ranked an A minus, right? Ranked an A here. So you got +2 and +4. Okay, even though this one's sponsored by Fox News. So there's a lot of interesting information here. Okay, and I suggest that you look into this one. Breaks down to this one has 3% for Stern. Is that another person's running? I don't know. All right. There's 3 other people running, and so again, the opportunity here is endless. There's a lot of opportunity for us to gain votes. So if you know one of those Gerhardt voters, well, Stern voters, encourage them to vote for Dr. Oz. All right, now here's the reason why this is happening. Okay, we spoke to one thing, and that was the lies of the Fetterman campaign. They can sit there and blame Dr. Oz for this lie, that lie, this lie, that lie. I haven't seen any lies from Dr. Oz. I've seen, sure, he's a rich dude. He's got some weird quirks to him and stuff like that. Listen, I watched the video. It put me in tears. The dude's mother is sick, has dementia, Alzheimer's, over in Turkey. He has dual citizenship. He keeps that so that he can take care of his mother and keep the what do you call that power of attorney over his mother, so he can go visit her and make decisions for her. He's willing to denounce his Turkish citizenship and lose that right in order to go into government. He doesn't need to do that. If he wins, there's no reason for him to need to do that. If he loses, then there's definitely no reason. But he said if he wins, then he will renounce that. That's pretty amazing. It's an amazing thing. That's a real sacrifice. And I mean, this is a guy who built his own business. So Dr. Oz, if you look at him deeper, you go, okay, this guy, he had stuff he was born sure. His father was pretty well off. His family was pretty well off. They weren't super rich, but he's built so much wealth. He's built business after business. He's gone on TV. He's an effective communicator through that. He cares about at least some people. He's had many patients. And so there's a lot of negative things that come out about him because he's super rich and all this stuff. Does he understand the American people? He lives the American dream every day. What we want, right? What we should aspire to be. This is a lot to be learned from a guy like Dr. Oz. You look at John Fetterman, and people are starting to kind of see through the facade now. First of all, people say that abortion is the top issue. Yeah, I disagree. I don't think it's a top issue for most people. Sure, it might be top 3 or top 5. Here's what I would say. Dr. Oz he says he's pro-life now. He's never indicated that he was pro-life before. What I can guarantee you, and I would bet my entire retirement savings on it, okay, I'd bet my house on it, that the state of Pennsylvania will never do away with abortion. It just won't happen. There's not enough hardline conservatives in this state to be able to get that done, okay? There's not many states where it can get done. That being said, Fetterman has said he wants full access up to the point of birth, okay, up into the point of birth on abortions. So what I'd ask you is this: if you are someone that believes that 3rd trimester abortions, right before birth, okay, let's say you're a 15 or 20 week ban. Let's say that after that, let's say that you agree with abortion up till then vote for Dr. Oz. If you believe that babies should be killed as they're coming out of the womb, then fine, vote for Fetterman. But pretty much everything else, vote for Dr. Oz. Fetterman has supported crime in Pennsylvania in so many different ways. Braddock did not get safer under him. The small town that he was mayor of did not get safer under him. First of all, the guy collected money from his father and mother in order to pay for his livelihood because he never had a real job before. Okay, so who understands the American people more? A guy like Dr. Oz that has worked his entire life, worked super hard to do the best in top prestigious schools. many schools, I think 3 different top schools. A guy who built a medical practice, a guy who invented medical products, built a medical business, and a guy who was on the TV show for years, putting in tons of work. Who, I ask you, who knows more for the state of Pennsylvania? Who can affect the state of Pennsylvania in a better way? We talk about, the other thing I was brought up was cannabis. I believe Dr. Oz wants to decriminalize. I think that we should be legalized. I agree. Okay. But those are one of the things where it's like, okay, that's going to happen eventually. Republicans are coming around. What do we need right now? We need the economy to be better. John Fetterman wants to work with Joe Biden on these stupid things they've been doing that raise gas prices and eliminate jobs from Pennsylvania. So there's so many reasons, and I'm not going to keep you, okay? But what I'd say is, please think about this, share this video, okay? Tell your friends why they should vote for Dr. Oz. Listen, at the end of the day, it comes down to family, okay? And this state, it goes beyond the state. It goes to this country. It comes down to what you want for your family. Do you want your families to be indoctrinated into this system where they are put down based on their race, whether they're white, black, or Hispanic, where their neighborhoods are threatened by crime, by illegal immigration? Is that what you want for your kids? I can't imagine that it is. So please do a couple things, a couple calls to action here. I beg you to, number one, share this video. Okay, or other videos that are going to promote Dr. Oz as a candidate. All right. Number two, vote for Dr. Oz and get as many people as you can out to the polls. And number three, if you can, donate to the Oz campaign or to other campaigns that you believe in. Okay. Finally, if you want to find a way to donate to this channel, I want to make a lot more content, especially after the elections. So there'll be a link in the description as soon as I make an account. I appreciate anything that you can do. I promise you that production quality will get better. And as soon as my voice gets better, things will be a lot easier. I'll make another video like this, but one that's better. Thank you. Have a good night.